everybody. Today I have a whole host of makeup in front of me that I'm hesitant to believe that will work in any way. Well, we're about to find out. Makeup Forever, the HD Skin Matte Velvet Powder Foundation, the Haus Labs Blush, which I've already put some pictures up over on Instagram, the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood highlighter, and the Byredo State of Emotions eyeshadow. So we're going to test these things out today. These are going to be first impressions, so we'll just see how it goes. There's always the possibility this is just going to work out great. Sure. Okay, so gotta be positive. I'm positive it's going to go badly. Okay, so the HD Skin Matte Velvet. Why do I keep saying that? It's because this is a powder foundation, and it says velvet and matte. I instantly I'm like, oh, it's gonna age me. Okay, HD Skin Matte Velvet, and you're like, why'd you pick it up? The reason I picked it up is because the Makeup Forever HD foundation, I got it in the same shade, is one of my favorite foundations for like a long day. I've talked about it many times. I wear it for my conferences. This one says 24-hour undetectable blurring powder foundation. So I had to try it. 12 months shelf life. And, you know, I'm actually very fond of Makeup Forever. I have been for a very long time. And I think they make good products. So I just feel like I need to try it. It says buildable medium to full coverage, waterproof, sweat-proof, smudge-proof, ideal for normal, combination, and oily skin. So that's where I get nervous because nowhere in there does it say dry. But in one swipe, the breakthrough silky smooth formula syncs with the skin for a high blur effect, an even complexion, and ultra natural matte finish. We're gonna try it. I mean, seriously, it's just makeup. The worst thing that happens is that I have to wash it off. All right. And there's a little sponge in here that's impossible to get out. Hold on. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I like the compact. It actually reminds me of the Natasha Denona My Dream compact. That's like the same shade. But plastic, mirror, foundation, little teeny sponge. Let's try it. So I do have on the Guerlain Watery Oil. I do not have a moisturizer on, but I have that on. That's very moisturizing. I've let it sink in, so hopefully it doesn't interact with the foundation. I have Gucci pencil on my brows. Here we go. Let's do it in sections. Well, it definitely has good coverage. No doubt about that. Okay, and let's just kind of blend that in there to the neck. The shade is exactly right for me, which is, by the way, 1R02. Yeah, 1R02. It's like it's not the lightest shade, but it's close. Okay, so far I'm not having any problems. Like it doesn't look cakey, which is surprising. I'm spreading it on like this because I feel like if I do that, if I swipe it, it will actually be less coverage than if I pat it in. But we'll see. I might end up doing that too. But I'll pat it like around here, just very lightly with whatever is left on the sponge. The areas I think that will cake will be like around my nose and eyes, because that's where the lines are. Well, I mean, I have lines everywhere, but you know what I mean. Just kind of like, it's not too dry. I mean, it's powder. Don't get me wrong, it's powder, but it's actually not working too badly. And again, I have on the watery oil like right underneath it, so I wouldn't try this without some type of moisture on your skin if you are a dry skinned person. Even if you're a normal oily skin person, primers, whatever kind you use, are helpful. All right, now you'll notice that my skin does look light next to my neck a little bit. So let's let it sit in and like oxidize, because when I use the liquid, that does not happen. It doesn't look, I don't look a little ghostly, but I think it's because this has a lot more coverage. So it's like flat because it's a matte coverage, a velvet coverage. I'm looking in my 3X mirror. Okay. There are certain areas that look dry, but it's actually not that bad. Right here, it looks a little dry. Right here, so like right in here, it's a little dry. And right around my nose and right here, I get dry patches actually where a lot of people get oily. I don't know, it's very strange. But the rest of it, again, it's not, I mean, it's a powdered finish, but it actually, it's not bad. All right, let's give it some time. Let's see what it does. All right, we'll use a tried and true bronzer. I'm gonna use the Tom Ford because I don't want to put something on that I don't know how it looks with this powder foundation, because I won't be able to tell if it's the, if it's the bronzer or the powder foundation. It's definitely a powder finish, but I assume that if you're buying a powder foundation, you're looking for a powder finish. I was thinking of it as more, instead of like foundation, I was thinking of it more as like when I wanted to go on camera and I just want to put a little bit, throughout like the middle of my face, or when I was traveling, could keep it in my purse. That actually, it actually feels nice too. It feels very lightweight. Like it feels soft. Sorry, I'm just kind of shocked. Let me see what this has in it. It has silica, zinc, dimethicone. It looks matte. It looks velvety. It's a matte finish, but it doesn't look too dry, which is saying something. Okay. Interesting. I forgot to mention, I also did pick up the Ultralip from Glossier. This is Sephora now has Glossier. I picked this up in shade, I think this is Villa. Let me double check. Yeah, Villa. And it's a hydrating shine. These are basically glossy balms. These are cruelty-free. Glossier is a brand that I actually used to use a lot more. Their Cloud Paint, their cheek ones, I really like those. Y'all know I love a glossy balm, so. This one's nice. No scent. It's a pretty shade. I mean, it's a basic glossy balm. It's 0.10 ounces, 3 grams. It's a hydrating shine. Again, as I said, it's cruelty-free, 12-month shelf life. Nothing else that I can think of. It's not sticky or anything. It's just a nice glossy balm. I like it. Let's get to what is probably the star of today's show, Haus Labs. This is the new blush. And I picked it up in the brightest color possible because I figured if I was going to try it, why not go completely out of my comfort zone and try the really bright shade. It's called Dragon Fruit Days. I have nothing like it in my collection, but I did choose a bunch of blushes that I have that I thought would be close, and I'll swatch them for you at the end. But it's a 24-month shelf life, which is great. It says, use a brush to apply and diffuse, a build for intensity. It's Haus Tech powered with fermented arnica, hydroberry, and it is talc free, which I think is great. It's very bright. It's a very bright blush. So I'm gonna go in with a very, very soft brush, and I will swatch it for you in a minute. I'm just going to be very careful about how I put this on my cheeks because I'm very pale. Okay. If I go in super lightly, and I basically didn't even touch the blush, this is a blush that I would wear probably underneath a foundation, or I would use this as the cold girl look, which is like right here, and you basically pop it on your cheeks, and you start like right there, and you pop it on your cheeks like this, and it kind of gives you went out in the sun. I mean, you went out in the cold, which I actually did to take the pictures that are up on Instagram, by the way. But that's what this color is. That's probably why this color seemed to be the most popular one at my local Sephora. But I can definitely wear this shade. I'm just not going to use a dense brush for it. Now, if you're wondering what I'm doing by draping it over my nose, that's another new technique that a lot of folks use. It's not a new technique. It's just you'll probably have seen it. I don't generally do it because I have rosacea and I've been trying to get rid of the pink in my cheeks. However, with a foundation like this, because this foundation is about as full coverage as, I mean, it's pretty full coverage actually, and I put it on very lightly. It does get rid of all my rosacea. It creates a blank slate. So I would feel a little more comfortable about using a shade like this because you don't see the rosacea, you just see the pink blush. But as you can see, it's very, very bright. This is what it looks like. And like I said, I have pictures over on Instagram, but it's a large sized blush. It is, how many ounces is this? I'll look at the packaging in a second. I was looking if it was on the box. I didn't see it on the box. It is 11 grams, 0.39 ounces. That's a lot of product, guys. The oversized bronzers from Hermes and Chanel are not that much bigger than that. So just remember, this is a heck of a lot of blush. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's a lot of blush. It's very bright. It's very pink. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do 2 swatches. That's 2 swatches. I'm just rubbing, you know, just spreading it out a little. Yeah, 2 swatches. So it's a very bright pink. It almost has like a purple, like a lavender. I'll try the Dior next to it too. I mean, it's very pretty. It's not like, it's a really nice shade, but I think this is a cool girl, cold person look. I think that's kind of what this is meant for. I actually think it looks nice on my skin tone, but this is going to work on a lot of folks because if I can wear it, I mean, yes, I did diffuse it, but if I can wear it very, very lightly, I don't think there's that many people that are that much paler than I am, but I can tell you the intensity of this blush, this is going to work on deeper skin folks. This is intense, really. And I actually like the packaging. It's nice packaging. It's very simple, but it's very silver. It's very reflective. I've wiped off fingerprints like a million times. And the way that it looks like in the packaging, I just think actually looks quite nice. The pictures I took of it outside in the ice, it actually looked really nice. It kind of fit with the icicles. In Boston, we got like this ice storm. So yeah, I think it's actually really pretty. I just think it's a very pigmented blush, and unless you like a strong statement, you're gonna have to go in very light-handed with it if you're pale. If you have deeper skin tone, you're not gonna have that problem. And I also think you could play this down. You just take a sponge and go over it with a little bit of foundation, and you'd lighten it up very quickly. So let's talk about the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Hollywood Glow Guide highlighter. Now I picked this up in Pillow Talk Glow, and I figured since we're doing such a pinky look today, let's continue. And I wasn't gonna pick these up because again, I don't need this much highlighter. But here's the thing, I love pink highlighters, which is odd because I don't like pink in anything else. But in a highlighter, I like a pink. I don't know why. I just think it's flattering. And so it's got the little stars on it. It's in the traditional Charlotte packaging, which I will show you in just a second. But yeah, it's a pretty highlighter. Looks like this. And it has, let's see if it's on the front. It's 7 grams, 0.24 ounces. So yeah, it's got a pretty good size. It says glowing, lifted, younger looking skin for cheeks, nose, jawline, eyes, and lips. And basically there's a picture on the front of it where you can put it. I'll actually do that today so you guys can see what she's talking about. You can put highlighter. There's different ways you can use highlighter. You don't have to just put it at the high points of your cheek. I'm sure we all know that by now. But so that is the Pillow Talk shade. It's very pretty. It's actually a little more subtle than I thought it was going to be. It's really nice. I wish I had the Rare Beauty in the pink shade. I only have it in the white shade, and this is Enlighten. And I do want to get the pink shade, but when I was looking for it, it was sold out everywhere. I think it is back now. But I want to pick that up in the pink shade. I wanted to show it to you though, because can you see the Enlighten, how like bright it is immediately? Now I know it's not the pink, so you can't do a direct compare. But the Charlotte Tilbury, although it's definitely a highlighter, it definitely has, you know, brightness to it. The Rare Beauty is much more luminous. That can be a good or bad thing, depending on, you know, what you're looking for in your highlighter. But I wanted to mention it because I was looking at it and I was like, huh, that's interesting. The Charlotte Tilbury is actually less shiny. All right, so what she's talking about when she says use this in different places. So highlighter, any type of highlight, can be used to pinpoint, you know, high points of your face that you want to draw the attention, draw the eye to. And one way to, quote, lift your face is to kind of draw everything upward in the highlight that you put on your face, because your eye will go to that. So you can put it along the bridge of your nose to, you know, elongate. You can also put it like right on the tip, which I just did with my finger to give you that little, what is it called? Button nose, if you want to do it that way. You can put a little on the top of your lip to give a little bit of highlight to the top of your lip. You can put a little here, and I would say don't do too much, because if you do, and this area of your face is not as taut as it once was, you could actually do the opposite of what you're trying to do. So just be careful with it. Take a little bit of a smaller brush or a more narrow brush, and you can put it in the arch of your brow to accentuate the arch. Again, if you have a lot of texture there, or you feel like your, you know, eyes aren't as taut as you'd like them to be, highlighter can draw attention to them. Again, it doesn't matter that it draws attention to them. If you're fine with it, that's fine. Just be aware that highlighter tends to do that. And then like a little dot in this area here will also draw your attention up. You can also put a little here. I like to go over it a little bit with my finger, and there you go. So it's a beautiful highlighter, and I really do like the shade, and I think it's like perfect for me. It's what I would look for in a highlighter because it's not too blingy. I actually love the Rare Beauty one. I love the Rare Beauty because I think the shades work well for me and it's really easy to use. But I will say that the Rare Beauty highlighter, the powder, is incredibly powerful, and I'll never use all of this up, ever. The liquid I like more than the powder, but if you're looking for like a luminous, impactful highlighter, Rare Beauty, she did an amazing job. I love Selena Gomez though. I'm a huge Selena Gomez fan, aside from her makeup, but I actually love her makeup. I think she knocked it out of the park with the Rare Beauty brand, but that's just me. Okay, so the foundation is actually wearing quite well. I don't see any, it's not caking up, it's not settling. We'll see how it does in a little while. I'll put information down in the description box. And of course, by the time the video ends, I'll bring you in a little bit so we can see how it looks. At the end, I'll have swatch comparisons with the blush. But let's do an eye look really quickly. This is the Byredo State of Emotions. I talked about this in another video that I had picked this up because we have a Byredo here in Boston. And the shade On the Fence, the lipstick, it's a matte formula, actually works really well. It's a good matte. It's a creamy matte. It does feel a little dry at like the 6-hour mark, but you know, to be honest with you, most things do. So I really haven't had any problems with it. I have to keep wearing it because I feel like maybe I over moisturize my lips on that day because I just can't believe a matte would be that good. But honestly, so far, I really like it for some reason. Now, and maybe I should call this video, I bought it so you don't have to. The State of Emotions, the Byredo oysters, or whatever you want to call them. Some of these are extremely good and I really like the color stories, and some of them are terrible. And so it's really hit or miss, which is unfortunate because Byredo is expensive and most people don't have a Byredo near them or a counter near them, like at an Neiman's or Saks, whatever, that carries Byredo. I am lucky enough to have a Byredo literally next door to my hair salon, so I can stop in and check out the colors and see if the formula is good. I did not want to pick this one up because I was like, you know, the others that I've seen I didn't really like, and I don't like the compact because I don't like, it's very narrow, and so like getting your brush in there can be problematic, so I don't love that. However, I was in the Byredo and I was looking at actually gifts for some friends, and the person in there showed me the palette, and I was like, oh, that's actually nice. So unfortunately, I was like, shoot, because I was trying not to buy things that day, but for me, trying to buy things not for me, but I ended up buying it anyway. So that is the palette. It's actually quite pigmented. It's more plummy than anything else. It's a nice palette if you like these shades. The gold in here is extremely gold. And the thing is, I have to say, I think that this color story is actually going to be a color story that we're going to see a lot this year. And what I mean by that are like pinky shades with a gold. Or like we saw on the Chanel Spring, you've got you know, purpley lavender and then like yellow. The Chantecaille, I think, has that too, although I don't have that. And I've seen some stuff coming out for other brands that seem to have that as well, like disparate colors and then yellow. So I don't know if that's, you know, for whatever reason, different designers, even though I don't think they get together and discuss this, they tend to have similar color stories come out. There's been a heck of a lot of red, which I'm frankly, I can't get any more red. Like at this point, even if it's Dior or Chanel, I don't know if I can buy it because I can't do any more red, guys. I'm just like, I just can't handle red anymore. I'm just like, I can't have any more red. I'm going to take this middle shade, the one with the B on it. It's not that I have so much red and I don't wear it because I don't like that shade. You know, the only reason I bought the Chanel oversized is because I know you guys all wanted to see them. So I bought them, but I'm never going to use them. So it's just such a waste. But anyway, maybe I'll give them to somebody. So this shade is the middle shade in the Byredo. And like you can see already, it's very pigmented. It's a purple. And I like a good purple. I don't like a pink purple, but this is more eggplant, aubergine maybe. And the Byredo formulas, if you try the Byredo Kalahari palette that came out, that large pan palette, that was on like my best of. Camera cut off when I was talking about the Kalahari palette, which was like one of my best of 22. It really was great. It is a great palette. And I really like that palette. I think one of my favorite large palettes I've ever used, actually. It's a great formula. Use this lighter shade here. Yeah, it's excellent. So, you know, I think Byredo does a good job with its formula. It's just that sometimes in the clamshells or oyster shells, the formula just is bad, which is odd to me. I'm not exactly sure why that happens, but for whatever reason, it does. I mean, I can't tell you why they do that. You would think they would just stick with the better formula, but evidently they don't. I'm going to take this shade here, which is kind of the shimmery shade that's not gold. Put this on the eye. Yeah, because I mean, I think the formula that they used for Kalahari, you know, there's different formulas in it, obviously, but they were all excellent. They were all good. It's just a beautiful palette. And then like this formula, that everything that's in here is working extremely well. Very pigmented, easy to blend, really gorgeous shades. I don't know what happens. Like, I don't understand why one would suddenly just be, you know, like a formula that you can't really use. It just seems very odd to me, but what do I know, right? I mean, I don't know what's going on with them. Take the berry shade, it's at the end. This is like my least favorite shade in the palette. It has a little bit more red to it. Not a lot, but a little more. We're just gonna concentrate that out here. So yeah, I just feel like I'm not sure, you know, why that happens, but all right. So now we're gonna take the gold shade, and I'm gonna use my finger for this. This is the only thing I said, like, I don't like the fact that you have to, it's just so narrow. Like, it's hard to put your finger in there, but you know, it does, you can put your finger in there. It's not like you can't, it's just, it doesn't make it easy to put your finger in there, that's all. And then I'm gonna take that bright yellow and put it on the inner corner. It's very bright gold. This is not like the Delise palette from Chanel in the sense that the yellow is yellow. This is gold. It has a similarity to the Guerlain Holiday. I think it was Holiday, Guerlain Holiday. And I think it also has a similarity to a couple of other palettes that have a similar, like I said, color story. There's been a little bit with like the purple and the gold. It's Mardi Gras colors, but I actually do think it looks nice on the eye. And let's take the shader all the way on the end and line with that one, mostly focusing on the outer, and then the deeper shade that I started with, we'll use on the top. I think the colors are nice. I think the formula is good in this one. And if you like the color story, it's worth picking up. But it does look like a lot of other palettes, quints that we've seen lately. Put on a little bit of mascara, and then we'll come back and I'll swatch compare the different shades of the blush for you. All right, I brought you in a little bit closer because I want you to be able to see the foundation on me up close. And I have to say, at this point, it actually looks pretty good. It's a little bit more full coverage than I like. It feels a little, when I look at it, it looks a little, but it doesn't feel heavy. It does not feel cakey. It does not feel heavy. It just, you know, it's more full coverage. It's blurring. It does blur. And I have to say, it actually looks really nice on the skin. And it does not feel cakey. It does not feel powdery. My skin does not feel tight. None of that. Yeah. No texture being really accentuated except where the highlighter is, which is normal. There's no scent. No scent. Yeah, I gotta say, guys, right now, I can't tell you that it's problematic for my skin, which is a surprise. You saw how I started this video. I basically was like, well, this is gonna be a disaster. But actually, yeah, it looks quite nice. It's not settling in the lines. It doesn't, you know, I usually get like, you know, lines here or through here or, you know, but no. Now, the thing about a powder or a long wearing or matte velvet, whatever foundation is, you see how it wears. So maybe in a couple hours it will look really, really dry. But I gotta say, right now, I like it. All right. I don't know what to tell you. I think it looks good. All right, so let's swatch compare the Haus Labs. I just want to make sure I have. We'll do 2 swatches. It's very, like I said, it's very pigmented. Dragon Fruit Days is the shade. That's 2 swatches. I have it on so lightly on my face, so lightly. I thought the RMS blush might be similar. This is French Rose. I actually really like the RMS blushes. They are much more luminous. The shade is somewhat similar, but not really. It's more pink. The Haus Labs has more of like a purple almost to it. The Valentino, this is Valentino number 1. Love the Valentinos as well. Ooh, this one's similar. Okay, that is very similar. The Valentino color is very similar to the Haus Labs number 1, but it is more luminous. The Haus Labs is more velvet. It's like almost a velvety matte. So these two, very similar shades. If you like the Valentino number 1. All right, let's do Valentino number 3. I think this is gonna be like lighter, yeah, and more lavender. Beautiful blush, but not. I pulled out Malice from Chanel, but it's gonna be like, it's not gonna be the right shade. It's bright, but it's, Chanel's never, yeah, it's not it at all, okay? Let's see. Got Dior. This is Dior Backstage Pink. It has that more lavender, like I'm gonna do 3 shades of this one just so you can see it. It's more like iridescent pink. It looks kind of like the Haus Labs and the Valentino, like muted. All right. I have Hermes Pommet. Again, these are the ones that were closest in my collection. They're not, when you actually put them up, you know, no. But looking at them, I was like, well, maybe. Pat McGrath, this is Fabulous Flirtations and Sexquisite Seduction. Let me try the pinkier shade in here. The one that's on the roses. No. I did the shade that's on the roses. It's more pink. Okay. Let's try the purpley shade in this one. This is, and that wasn't the shade. That was Divine Rose too. I'm reading the wrong. Okay. This one is Night Bloom. Let me go with the purple shade that's in here. See what that looks like. No, that one is definitely more, it's deeper, like more of a purple. This is more of like a bright fuchsia almost. Okay. Down to my last 2, guys. Wayne Goss. I have Vivid Azalea. Shocking shade in there. Similar. Not the same, but similar. It's deeper. And then the last one, this is the Wayne Goss. This is the bright poppy. I don't think this is, looking at it now, I don't think it's gonna be close. So let me put it over here because I don't, yeah, it's more coral. It's got the intensity, but it's not the right shade. All right, so the shades that are closest to it are Vivid Azalea in Wayne Goss and the Valentino number 1. But again, it's not exact to the Valentino number 1, but it is similar. The Valentino number 1 has a little bit more purple and it's a little bit, and it's definitely more iridescent, but at least it's similar in shade. So, you know, I have to say, I'm impressed by how it looks on the cheeks. I think it actually looks quite nice. It is a beautiful blush, but it is very intense. If you're somebody who doesn't like an intense blush, that's going to be wasted on you because there's also a lot in there. It's also 0.39 ounces, so that's a lot of blush when you consider the Valentino, for example, is 0.12. So it's very pigmented. You're not going to need a lot if you like a lighter blush or you're very pale, and there's a lot of it. So for $38, I think it was $38, you're getting a lot for your money because you're getting a lot of product. But do you use that much blush? I mean, that's up to you to decide. But I'd say for what you're getting, the amount you're getting, and the intensity, I mean, it would probably take me 10 years to use this much blush because I'd have to go in so lightly with it. For me, I'm someone who doesn't like a very bright blush look, and I'm very pale. For somebody with a deeper skin tone, it's going to show up very easily. It's going to be beautiful. And you know, if you also like a brighter pop of blush, you won't be as light-handed with it either. I actually like it, and if I needed more blush, I would buy more shades, but as you can see, I don't. So the blush is beautiful, extremely pigmented, lot of product, more of a velvety finish, and a very bright poppy, almost fuchsia pink. The eyeshadow, the State of Emotions, it's actually a really nice quint. The shades in here are blendable, good formula. The gold is very pigmented. The rest are kind of plums. There's not really a pink. I like the color story, but I think it looks very similar to a lot of the color stories we've seen. But if you're looking for this color story and you weren't sure about the formula, this one it's got a good formula in it. But you know, it's expensive for what you get, and I don't particularly love the clam oyster shell design. It's just not really me. The Glossier lip balm, it's a lip balm. It's a glossy lip balm, but I actually like it. It feels very comfortable on the lips. It's not super shiny. It's not super glossy. It's just kind of a nice balm. I have been using the Dior Maximizers, and I love them so much that I might not really have a place for this necessarily. However, it's a great thing for me to throw in my purse to use. So for that purpose, I mean, I think it's nice. If that's what you're looking for, it lives up to what it is. The Hollywood highlighter, the Glow Glide, I really like the shade, the Pillow Talk shade. I think it's really pretty. And it is a really nice formula. It blends really well. It doesn't over accentuate texture. It's smooth. It looks good on the skin. Is it really any different than any other highlighter that's out there? I showed you in comparison to Rare Beauty. Rare Beauty is more luminous, more intense. This is sort of a middle of the road. It's not super subtle like a Chanel, but it's not super intense like the Rare Beauty. And the foundation, you tell me what you think, but I mean, I think it looks pretty good. It does look more full coverage. You can tell I have foundation on, but it's very lightweight. It does not feel heavy. It does not feel dry. I actually think I like this. We'll see how it wears. I'll have notes down below, but today did not turn out like I thought it was going to. Don't assume, right? Because you never know. Yeah, actually looks really good. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.